Welcome back to the Infinite, everybody. Today is a really big day for the channel because today I have this box. Let's dive right into this, shall we? All right, so this is the box that it comes in, obviously just a standard UPS box. Now you can use this pull tab here to just pull that open, but I have a much better way, of course. Now the great thing about this is I'm gonna open this up, look at that. There's the pearl within. All I have to do is pull those tabs. It presents the phone to me just like that. Wow. Okay, that is pretty. Wow. Wow. And this is actually beautiful. I'll tell you what, these titanium edges look a lot better in person than I thought they were. Everybody talked about how they were matte and brushed, but honestly, when you see it in person like this, they don't look nearly as matte as I thought they would. If you can even see up here, you still have the light glare, and it shows that there's still kind of like a glossiness to them, which I like a lot. On the 12 Pro, because of the glossy stainless steel finish, when you drag your finger across it, you would feel the resistance from the gloss finish. This is not that way, however. This is completely smooth. The buttons are actually a little bit more recessed than I think that previously they were. This is your action button here, and it looks like they do show the little ringer icon here just to help the customer understand that this is mute on off by default. I will say this blue color looks incredible. I love this color even more in person than I thought I would. It's lighter too. It's definitely lighter than the previous models. Here we go. Let's pull the screen protector off. Now, some people talked about how the edges were a little bit more curved on this one versus the completely straight edges of 12 Pro forward. And yes, absolutely, this is definitely more rounded. It feels really great in my hand, honestly. I actually have used the 12 Pro caseless for a long time now, and it digs into the corners of your hand. This is very, very comfortable. I'm gonna be tempted to use this caseless as well. Oh, this is great. I am so excited about this. It looks amazing. It feels really good in the hand, lighter. The rounded edges here make a big difference. The action button has a great clickiness to it. And there's actually my ring up there. So there's your first indication you'll get of the action button. That's pretty exciting. And then of course in the box, you're gonna get your USB-C cable. And this cable is exciting because it's not just braided, but also USB-C to USB-C. So, of course, the iPhone 15 is the first iPhone on USB-C, and I'm excited to plug this in. And then we'll check out the little envelope that Apple sends to you. It looks like this Apple sticker actually comes on different paper than we are used to. This looks more of a, maybe more of an eco-friendly paper? I'm not sure, but definitely a different paper than they used to ship with. Okay, so let's get this on and get this set up. And right off the bat, actually, it looks like they're gonna let you set the appearance of your iPhone. So I'm just gonna go with default, but you can also go medium or large. And it looks like it's prompting me automatically for a software update if I want to transfer data directly from another iPhone. Again, I'm gonna do this later. I actually prefer to set up my iPhones as brand new when I get them, just for a fresh start. And then I see what I really need and what I don't. And then we'll have data and privacy here, and it will kind of give us some information about how Apple is the most private company in the world, apparently. Hit continue. And then we've got the setup iPhone. You can either set it up for yourself or set up for a child in my family. So I'm just gonna be setting up for myself. Go ahead and set up Face ID at a later point, and then I'll create an iPhone passcode. Now the passcode I always use on all my new iPhones is use anyway. I just kind of, as I set this up here, I'm just looking at the back of the phone. This looks so nice. I love how this looks. Okay, and then it looks like one of the things that it has you set up on the setup of the phone as well on the iPhone 15 Pro is this action button customization. So this is cool that they actually include this in onboarding. I didn't think that they would do that. It says action button, press and hold to turn silent mode on and off. You can also customize the action button. So let's go ahead and customize it. And this is where you get to this awesome UI that I've chatted about previously. You can have the different modes here. It looks like when you don't use it for just a second, it kind of pulls it back, uses that animation to pull the phone back and just show the side. Ooh, and you got some nice haptics as you flip through these. Really smooth animations. Oh wow, that's interesting that you can even do no action here. So you could literally have your action button do nothing. It's interesting. Now, one of the nice things about setting up the action button is not only can you set up which main action you want it to do, but you can even customize that action. So on camera, for example, I can tap photo here and either have it do photo, selfie, video, portrait, portrait, selfie, and you can customize which of those modes to go into. I think for now I'm going to set it to voice memo just because I'm really curious to see how that works. I think it could be handy. So I'll go ahead and set it to voice memo and hit continue here. Okay, and then we get our welcome to iPhone, swipe up to get started. So now we are in the actual iPhone and it looks great. Now I want to create a full review for this later and kind of go over all of the in-depth things about the new iPhone 15 Pro. I'm really excited to start using it. I'm excited to try out some of those AAA games on here when those come out later this year. And I'm excited to try out the camera and see what kind of quality we can get out of the new improvements they've made to the camera array this year. And of course, see how often I start using the action button. Now let's test this out really quick just to see what the voice memo looks like on the action button. Looks like I press and hold it, it immediately starts recording, which is really nice. And then it'll just continue to show that up in the dynamic island. And then I'm assuming, yep, if I press and hold it again, it will stop recording. So this seems like it's going to be really helpful. Of course, with the way that Apple sets things up, there's always a perfect synchronization between hardware and software. So I'm excited to see how that works. And with the dynamic island, I feel like there's a lot of things at play in this phone that we haven't always seen before. Now, here's the new fine woven case that I got from Apple a couple of days ago. It arrived kind of early. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this on. Let's see what the impressions are of this case after it's actually on the phone. Pretty tight fit, actually. Okay, so I got the case on and it actually feels great. Just as good as I thought it felt when I first got it. Now, since I have unboxed this, I've heard more reviews from people saying that this really gets beat up over time, that things like fingernails leave permanent marks on here. I've run my finger over this a few times just to kind of test, and you can see that it definitely does leave marks on there and they don't easily brush away. I think that they might fade away over a few days worth of time, but I am going to use this over the next week and just kind of try to get a better feel for how it works. The nice thing about the leather was that it kind of healed itself as time went on. I'm not sure that this fine woven case is going to do the same thing. You can see that the Apple logo is already looking kind of beat up on here. And again, this scratch right along here, I just barely did that. I didn't even press very hard, just kind of running my fingernail over it. So we'll see how this holds up, but I might be retracting some of my comments when I did the review of this case a few days ago. Now let's take out this USB-C cable and just make sure that the iPhone really does have USB-C, because I'm kind of having a hard time believing it. We've been on Lightning for so long. So let's find out if this actually works. Okay, there is the USB-C cable and you can see that it looks really great. That color of blue underneath this blue fine woven case. And here I've got our USB-C cable that came with the phone. So is this legit? Yeah, okay, the iPhone is officially on USB-C. This is some really exciting stuff. So all of your lightning cables aren't useless yet. I mean, I still have a lot of products that require lightning cables. Here's one of them, the Magic Mouse Lightning. I still need it to be able to charge up this mouse. I also need it to be able to charge up my Magic Keyboard, not to mention my Magic Trackpad, my AirPods Pro, and not to mention my AirPods Max. So I would venture to say that Lightning is nowhere near dead yet, but the iPhone 15 moving over to USB-C is definitely a step in the right direction, and hopefully we get all of these things onto USB-C sooner rather than later. Another way to charge the phone is, of course, with the MagSafe charger, so you can slap that on there and see that charge up just like that. Now let's look at the iPhone 15 Pro Max in comparison to one of my favorite iPhones of all time, which is the iPhone 5. This was actually the first phone that I ever had, a terrific device. Now here's the iPhone 15 Pro next to it. You can see we have quite a bit larger, definitely larger when it comes to the camera array that you get on these two devices. Imagine if these came out in the same year, this would have looked ridiculous. And now this is kind of our standard. And your screen size is actually quite a bit bigger too. On the 15 Pro here, you have even smaller bezels than we saw on the 14 and 14 Pro. And on the 5, of course, you're gonna have the big black forehead and chin. So pretty different devices, but fun to look at. I love to see the progression year over year. And here it is compared to my first iPod, my iPod Touch. Pretty different as well. Again, the camera is hilarious, but a beautiful device. And of course, the 15 Pro is going to work just as well with any wallets or other MagSafe attachments you have for it. So this has been an awesome unboxing. Honestly, first impressions are that I like the phone a lot more than I thought I would. It feels amazing in the hand. The Blue color on this phone looks even better than what I've seen in videos so far, and I'm trying to capture it here. It's a really dark blue, but it is definitely blue. The edges I like a lot. It's lighter, it feels lighter. The edges aren't completely matte, they still have a nice shine to them. And the action button works really well. It feels really satisfying. The animations are of course perfectly on par, and it works just as you'd expect it to. So I'm really excited to start using this device. I'll put up a review once I've used it a little bit more, but thanks for watching the Infinite, and I'll see you next time.